Hey everyone, so it's the end of another week. It's Sunday, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to talk about the book I've been reading this week. And this week it's The Last Olympian by Riordan, the fifth book of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. This is a reread of mine. I've been rereading Percy Jackson books, and obviously this is the last one. So I'm going to be doing the same kind of structure where I've done for the past few weeks, where I'm going to talk kind of general about it and then go a bit more in depth about it. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos about the series, I first read these books, I think probably 3 years ago, maybe more than that, but I haven't read them since. And I remember reading them the first time round, and I really quite liked them. I started reading the subsequent series of books, but unfortunately the library, my local library, only had the first, I think, maybe 3, and then that was it. So I hadn't read on from that point there. And it's been a few years now, and I haven't bothered to pick up the other ones. So I think it's most likely I won't be picking up these ones again. So it was kind of nice rereading Rick's work and such. But I have to say, rereading The Last Olympian, I'm feeling a bit weird about it, because I remember when I originally read this book, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really well put together book. The structure, the way he'd written it, it went very dark very quickly. You've got a sacrifice, a person who dies very much in the first chapter. It's the beginning of the big battle, who's going to survive, who's not going to survive, etc. And rereading it, I was thinking, yeah, this is going good. But then I finished it, and I'm feeling a bit unsatisfied. I don't know what it is. It's not a case of, I thought this book was boring because I didn't. I thought it was too slow because it wasn't. I felt that the battle scenes weren't well written because they were. It ticked the various boxes, but overall, my satisfaction, I'm just feeling a bit about it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm older now. I have to. I have to say, I mean, this isn't obviously criticism of Rick and everything, but the Percy Jackson books, these 5 weeks, I've gotten into this pattern where I've spent, usually for every single week, I have been reading every single evening in order to, to meet the target and everything, and, because it's really, I wanted to, start off straight away and get all that lot. Pretty much for the Percy Jackson books, I've read them over, like, 4 days. So I've taken 3 days of just 3 evenings, after work and that, just kicking back and doing nothing. And I found they're so easy to read and everything. So this is why I haven't had those extra days. But I found as time has gone on, I kind of got a bit frustrated having to pick up these books, and I think it's Rick's writing. It's not, he's a great writer. I'm not saying he's a bad writer or anything like that. I'm not saying don't read his books, because I encourage you to, but I think it's because of the target audience who he's writing for. He hasn't. He's not done like let's say like J.K. Rowling for Harry Potter, where the sophistication of the language used and the way that it's written and such develops with the age of the reader as time's gone on. Rick has very much kept it the same throughout every book, so it's like he's obviously that kind of 10 to 12-year-old bracket that you see these books appear on the shelves for, or maybe 12 plus, kind of. I'm not too sure in bookshops and such. It kind of feels like he's only writing for that group every single time. He's not developing his writing as the books go on. At least that's how I feel, having reread it. Originally, when I read it, I never thought of that. It never crossed my mind. As I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. But rereading it, I think now, maybe because I'm older, going to be turning 30 next month, and I don't know if I expected more from it. I had memories of drawing this certain feeling, this certain thoughts and such from his work and now going back to it, I'm not getting that anymore, and it's making me feel a bit dissatisfied. But I didn't anticipate that would be how this this run of 5 weeks of reading the Percy Jackson books would end, but that's what's happened, I'm afraid. But what can you do? I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I would reread the Percy Jackson books again, but I certainly wouldn't go and read the second set of books now. I really honestly feel having reread the Olympian series. But okay, let's talk a bit more in depth about the various parts of this book. So there's going to be some spoilers coming up, just so you're aware. So if you want to turn off now, is the point to do it. Okay, so let's talk about Percy. Actually, come on, we haven't really talked about Percy in my previous previous reviews on a one-on-one level about his character. Now, Percy in this book, he's very interesting because he's very much taking on the pressure of everything that's going on around him. He's constantly having these dreams, which, visions of what is actually going on, which, to be honest, if he didn't have, Rick, if he didn't keep on writing it, they would have known nothing about what was going on and be completely ripped to shreds, which, of course, why he's written it and everything. But sometimes it feels like, I think maybe this is one of the things that caused me to have, weird thoughts and not be satisfied, is that he's done it with every single book, or pretty much every book, where Percy has these dreams and they're actually telling him certain things that happen to help them with their quest and everything. But it kind of felt like in this one, it was pretty much every other chapter or in the middle of every chapter, and I just kind of felt it was a bit bogged down. I know he had a lot of information to say, and he really needed it to get from point A to point B. If he didn't have them, then the battles would be very short. Would have been very short because everyone would have been killed. But still, it kind of felt like it was too much. Be, I know this might sound a bit weird for a fantasy viz, but be a bit more realistic in that they're not going to get every single information about every single moment that is going to happen in this war. Like, it's not like that. They see, oh my gosh, there's an army over there, rather than going, oh my gosh, there's an army that's going to be coming from over there in the next couple of hours, let's prepare for it because I saw it in a dream. It kind of annoyed me from time to time that there. But saying that, Percy, it was very interesting to read about him in this book. He doesn't really. One thing that's very interesting, because it's all written from Percy's point of view. He doesn't really talk about how he feels about things very, very much. Not, or at least not in depth. And sometimes it's kind of like, okay, you've been told that this is the day that you're gonna die, and you've known this for like 2 years, and how do you feel about that? Because you're not really saying anything about it. It was a bit like, give me some info here. Because if I have to read a book that's from your point of view, I need to understand what your thoughts and feelings are. And even though you're telling me your thoughts and such, I'm not really getting the feels. I need to understand what's your perspective on this. Give me some information. Other characters as well I found very interesting. Obviously Selena, very, very sad, that she died. It wasn't too much of a shock to me the first time out, and obviously the second time around when it was revealed that she was the spy and everything. But I did like her death, the way that she died and everything. It was very heroic, and how her being the spy doesn't affect how she's treated for a funeral or anything like that, or how she is seen by the other campers post the battle. She was just Selena who died in the battle. So yeah, she was a really lovely character. Clarice as well, I thought she wasn't really featured as much in this book, but it was great, and how she had a moment where her dad Ares said, "Oh, how proud I am of you," and all that lot. That was nice for her to have a moment. Grover, Tyson, Nico also had great moments in this book. Nico, I especially liked that he was able to convince Hades to fight in the battle. There was some bits with the gods where it was a bit like, really, seriously, just because their attitude. I know it was a situation where it's always been the same, that they don't talk to their kids, it's the way they are, la da 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 da, and it's like, yeah, but you're fighting a battle and you kind of need their help, so talk to them, come on, don't be so, yeah. Sometimes I felt myself being a little bit frustrated in that, it's like, for crying out loud, just break the rules for once. And, you know, Percy has now eternally broken that rule. You know, as they said, that they would grant him one wish, and he went for it, and, you know, he asked them to acknowledge all of their children, both, you know, the main gods and the, you know, the other gods, any kind of person from their world, basically, which was really great, because obviously that opens the doors for the next lot of heroes and such. Rachel, I love Rachel's ending in this book. It was so, I was so happy. I don't get why people don't really like Rachel. I know Rachel kind of kissed Percy, and they were like, oh no, you can't do that, kind of thing. You know, Percy's meant to be with Annabeth. Well, it's obvious he's going to be with Annabeth, yeah, regardless of a kiss. It's just a kiss. She's a teenage girl, and she likes this guy, and she's confused, and she kissed him. See, you know, how she felt and how he reacted and such, and he didn't really react to it, and so it was obvious that they were just going to be friends. Sometimes you just have to have something like that happen in order to, you know, determine exactly how you feel about a person. It's life. So the fact that some people kicked up a fuss in the fandom, going, oh, that's so wrong, it's like, get over it. You know, they were never going to be anyway, so just let them have that one kiss and realise, yeah, we're just friends, aren't we? Yeah, and have it be done. That's what I say. But yeah, overall, I liked the book. It had a good pace and all that. It had everything in there, but it left me dissatisfied, I'm afraid. As I said, maybe it's just because I'm a bit older and I'm, you know, rereading, I'm being really critical of the writing and such now in this book challenge. And even though, Rick, you know, you wrote a great book, and at one time you know, it really satisfied me, now it doesn't, I'm afraid. But still, well done for writing you know, a good book, great characters, great adventure, and yeah, keep on writing, mate. So all right then, I'm going to stop there. So as usual, I'm going to make another video to announce what the next book I'm going to be reading in this challenge will be. Have you read this book? I'd love to hear what you thought. If you want to let me know what you thought, you can leave me a comment in the comment box below, or if you want to show what you think of this book another way, you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, entirely up to you. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you thought of it, and wonder if there are people out there like me who were satisfied by this book at one time, but then no longer are. But anyway, I'll stop there, and I'll be back soon with another video announcing what next book I'm going to be reading in challenge. See ya!